make our sauce for our cheesecake. We're going to be making a delicious cherry sauce. And we like to actually use frozen cherries because, first of all, they are picked at the peak of ripeness, and second, they're already pitted for you. So you don't have to do a lot of work, and it's kind of fiddly, annoying work as well. So they taste just as good in a sauce. So get those into a nice sized saute pan, and then we're going to add our sugar to the pan. And that was a pound of cherries, half a cup of sugar. I'm going to add a little bit of lemon zest to that, just to help lift the flavor of everything. Usually we would add the zest in at the very, very end, but we just want it to be kind of a little background note, and we don't really want a ton of lemon flavor. So it's okay to add that in at the beginning of the cooking process. We're also going to add a little bit of the lemon juice, not much, just about a tablespoon or so. And I'm just going to squeeze that over my hand just in case any of the seeds fall out. I'll catch them in my hand as I'm squeezing. All right, and then we're going to add a little bit of water, but we're going to add some cornstarch to the water. We always want to add cornstarch into a cold liquid first. This is what's known as a slurry. So that's going to help us thicken up the juices that come off of the cherries. And if we try and add the cornstarch in after the cherries are already hot, it's going to form little clumps. And once you form those clumps, you can never get rid of them. So just take this one extra step to put it in the cold liquid first, and then it's all going to come up to temperature together. And again, it's going to help thicken those juices. You can use other starches as well. You can use arrowroot. You can even use a little bit of flour. But cornstarch is a very neutral flavor, so it works very well in this case. So we are just going to let that come up to a boil, and then we'll add a little bit of some fun ingredients at the very end. The other great thing about using frozen fruit is that essentially it has already gone through, let's say, a cooking process. So they're already nice and tender. So if you use raw cherries, you would have to let this sit and cook longer to actually break down the cherry a little bit. So this came together really, really quickly. So once it came to a boil, it only takes about 1 to 2 minutes to really, really thicken up. Cornstarch doesn't fully thicken until it comes to a boil. So we're looking very nice and thick here. You see if you draw your spoon through, it leaves a nice good print. All right, so now we're ready to add our fun ingredients. So I have a little bit of a cherry vodka, and if you can find Kirsch, I kind of had trouble finding it in the ABC store, but if you can find Kirsch, that works really well too. So just boosts up the flavor of the cherry. And I also added a little bit of a higher proof bourbon, so anything higher proof so we can try. We're gonna cross our fingers that we get a little bit of a flambe here. So I'm just going to pour my liqueur over the top of my cherries, and then everybody cross your fingers so we get a little bit of a light on that. Well, we didn't quite get the big poof of the flambe that we were after, but we did what we were hoping to achieve, which was to add some really nice flavor. And people think that flambeing cooks off the alcohol. It doesn't actually do that. What it just does do is take away a little bit of the harshness from the liquor or the liqueur. So if you just cook that another 1 to 2 minutes, it's going to do that anyway. So we just missed our fireworks, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to turn the heat off on the pan. Any sweet thing needs a little bit of salt. So I'm just going to add one nice chef's pinch, all 5 fingers of our kosher salt. And that just helps us to actually taste everything that's in the recipe. And we also want to add our vanilla bean paste, one of our all-time favorite ingredients. Just a nice good squeeze, roughly a teaspoon. If you don't have vanilla bean paste or don't want to go out and get it, regular vanilla extract will work as well. All right, so just put that on off of the heat because vanilla is very volatile, meaning it's very delicate. So if you add it in at the beginning of the cooking process, it's just going to, the flavor is going to dissipate and you won't get that nice good punch of vanilla. Give it a nice taste. Such a rich cherry flavor, so delicious. So it has a nice tartness to it too, so it's really going to accent the creaminess of the cheesecake. I would let this cool off just a bit before you add it to your top of your cheesecake, but you can make this days in advance. You can make it 4, 5, 6, probably 7 days in advance, and then you can top your cheesecake whenever you're ready to eat it.